Hello students, already we have started the solution topic for entrance point of view, and in the last session we have discussed up to the concentration term, that is the normality. Now we will discuss what is the solubility of the solute in the solution. So first term is solubility. Symbol for solubility is S. So already we know that whenever a solute is added to the solvent, suppose if I take this is a solvent, okay, and this is a solvent is water here. To this one I am adding some solute here, some solid solute is added, that is called as its solubility. How much amount of solute is present in the solvent, given quantity of the solvent, that is called as what? Solubility. Solubility is the maximum amount of solute that is present in the given quantity of the solvent is called as what? Its solubility. For example, if I take a solute is having its solubility, example I will take, for a solute its solubility is 30 gram per 100 ml of the solvent. A solute is having its solubility, that is 30 gram per 100 ml of the water. In every 100 ml of water, 30 gram of the solute is present, or it is soluble. We take like this. Suppose for this one, suppose 30 gram of solute is present in 100 ml of water, then that solution is called as saturated solution. That is called as what? Saturated solution, because more than 30 gram of the solute is not present in the solution form. Okay, if you add more than 30 gram, that extra amount of solute that is present in the form of the solid only, that is not soluble in the water here. Suppose if 25 gram of solute is present in the 100 ml of water, then that solution is called as unsaturated solution. Unsaturated solution means in which still more amount of the solute can be dissolved at the same temperature. Its solubility is 30 gram is there, only 25 gram is present in the water, means still 5 gram can be dissolved in the water here. Suppose 31 gram of solute is added to the 100 ml of water, 31 gram is added to the 100 ml of the water, then what happens? Only 30 gram of the solute is soluble in the water, and extra 1 gram that will deposit at the bottom only. So such type of solution are called as what? Super saturated solution. Here what happens? Suppose if I take 100 ml of water, so already we know that in 100 ml of the water only 30 gram of the solute is soluble. In 100 ml of water only 30 gram is soluble here. To this one what I will do is, just I will add 30 gram of this solute, so that entire solute is soluble in the water, so that it will form a single phase solution, because solution is what? Homogeneous. In that one, this entire solute, that 30 gram, it will be dissolved in the water, so that it will form a single phase. After this one, if I add 1 gram of the solute extra, 1 gram is added, means what is its capacity? 100 ml of water can dissolve only 30 gram of the solute here. Suppose if you add 1 gram extra, that is not soluble in the water, that will deposit at the bottom of the vessel like this. This is the 1 gram extra solute, that is what you have added here. Now what happens? The solute particles which are present in the solution, those solute particles, they are randomly moving and they will collide with the solute particle that are present in the solid state. Then what happens? They will come out of the solution. The process in which solute particles come out of the solution is called as what? Crystallization, we call it as. At the same time, some of the solute particles which are present in the solid state, again they will go into the solution here. That process is called as what? That is called as dissolution. The process in which solute particles, they will go into the solution to form a single phase, that is called as what? That is a dissolution, we call it as. So at equilibrium what happens? At equilibrium, that rate of crystallization and rate of dissolution is equal here. So the number of particles that are coming out of the solution and the number of particles that are going into the solution, that will be equal here. So constantly here what happens? 30 gram of the solute is maintained in the solution. Suppose 1 gram is coming out of the solution into the solid state, next what happens? 1 gram is going into the solution, again 30 gram of the solute is maintained in the solution here. Such type of solution is called as what? Saturated solution. So in this one, rate of crystallization rate of crystallization is equal to rate of dissolution. So at this stage what happens? A constant amount of the solute is maintained in the solution. So such type of solution is called as what? Saturated solution here. So in this one 30 gram is constantly maintained. For example, I have taken this one here. Okay. So in this one what we can write here? So this saturated solution contains maximum amount of solute in the solution here. That is, maximum amount is how much is possible? That is 30 gram is present in the 100 gram. So the amount of solute present in the saturated solution is taken as a solubility, because maximum 30 gram can be present in the 100 ml. That saturated solution contains 30 gram here. That's why the solubility is nothing but it is the amount of the solute present in the saturated solution. Saturated solution is one in which no more solute can be dissolved here. So here again I will explain this one. 30 gram of solute is soluble in the 100 ml. After 30 gram, if you add 0.00001 gram of the solute, this extra amount is not soluble. Only 30 gram is present in the solution. This is present in the form of undissolved state here. So that is what, only 30 gram of the solute is present in the 100 ml of solution here. So that is the solubility of the solute, we call it as. Now we will see what are the factors that are affecting the solubility of the solute in the liquid here. Okay. So the next point is factors affecting solubility of solid in the liquid here. Factors affecting solubility of solid in liquid here. So here solid is added to the liquid. The first point is nature of the solute and the solvent. They will affect the solubility of solid in the liquid. Liquid is the solvent and here solid is the solute. Solute is that is added to the liquid here. First point is nature of solute and solvent. For this one always you keep in mind like dissolves like, that is polar solute is soluble in the polar solvent, non-polar solute is soluble in the non-polar solvent here. So that is due to the same type of intermolecular forces. Like dissolves like, for this one we write like dissolves like. That is due to same intermolecular forces, IF I will write. This is due to what? Same intermolecular forces. Polar soluble in polar, non-polar soluble in the non-polar. We will take different possibilities, that is a solute plus solvent. Okay. So in this one we will take polar, both are polar. Next polar plus non-polar, non-polar plus polar, non-polar plus non-polar. And this one, first point polar plus polar, will take example. Suppose if I take NaCl is polar in nature, if it is dissolved in water it is soluble, because both are polar in nature. Polar is soluble in the polar, so that always you keep in mind like dissolves like here. Suppose if we take polar plus non-polar, polar solute is taken here. For example, if we take NaCl and if we take non-polar solvent like benzene, okay, this NaCl is not soluble in the benzene because one is polar and another is what? Non-polar. So the type of the interaction between these two is very, very different. That's why NaCl is not soluble in the benzene here. Always you keep in mind polar soluble, non-polar and non-polar soluble. In these two cases solubility is not possible. Suppose if we take non-polar and polar, non-polar solute I will take, that is anthracene. Suppose anthracene is added to the water, water is polar, anthracene is non-polar here. Again this anthracene is not soluble in the water because one is polar, this is non-polar, and this will be what? Polar here. Next non-polar and non-polar you take, that is this the same anthracene is added to the benzene C6H6. Since these two are being non-polar in nature, anthracene will be soluble in the benzene here because same type of interaction is present between these two here. So this is very, very important, you have to remember here. Next point is the temperature, effect of temperature. Always you keep in mind, to form a solution we are adding what? One is solute and another is solvent. Suppose to form a solvent, if I add A and B, this is a solvent, A I will take, and B I will take it as a solute. B is a solute. Okay. In case of solvent A type of interactions are present here. In case of solute B, in them the BB type of interaction is present here. Whenever the solute and solvent, these two are mixed together, then a new type of interaction arises, that is AB type of the interaction will arise. So this is very, very important for the temperature effect. Suppose first point I will write, if AB interactions are stronger than AA and BB interaction, if AB interaction nothing but the attraction between A and B is stronger than AA and BB, then it favors the formation of the solution, favors formation of solution. Then the enthalpy of the solution delta H will be negative, that is exothermic. So enthalpy of the solution is exothermic. Then what happens? Solubility is, this solubility is inversely proportional to the temperature. For exothermic solution, what happens? Solubility is inversely proportional to the temperature. Low temperature more soluble, high temperature less soluble, it is like that. If the enthalpy of the solution is negative, suppose if AB interactions are weaker than AA and BB type of interaction, it will not favor the formation of the solution. Then the enthalpy of solution is positive. The enthalpy of solution is positive means endothermic. For endothermic process, solubility is directly proportional to the temperature. If the formation of solution is exothermic, then solubility is inversely proportional to the temperature. If the formation of the solution is endothermic, then solubility is directly proportional to the temperature. In this case of solubility of solid in liquid, pressure has no effect because both solid and liquid are incompressible here. Next one. So the next point is the solubility of gas in liquid. Factors affecting solubility of gas in liquid. Again you have to follow the same rule here. Polar is soluble in polar and non-polar soluble in the non-polar. For that one, usually the gases like N2 and O2 are less soluble in water. Because water is polar in nature and N2 and O2 are what? These are non-polar gases. Non-polar gases are less soluble in the water, that is N2 and O2 here. Suppose if you take polar gases like ammonia and HCl, these are more soluble in water because they are able to react with the water. They will react with water, that is they are more soluble in water because they will react, because they reacts with water. See here, these two ammonia and HCl, these are easily liquefiable gases. Always you keep in mind, easily liquefiable gases like ammonia and HCl, they are being polar in nature, they are soluble in the water. Polar soluble in polar because they will react with water also. You can write the reaction between the ammonia and water, that is ammonia plus water. This is nothing but you will get ammonium hydroxide, or if you add HCl to the water, that is acidic in nature, you will get H3O plus hydronium ion plus Cl minus. So because of their reaction with water, they are highly soluble in the water. Next point, temperature effect. Effect of temperature. Always the solubility of gas in the liquid is exothermic in nature. Solubility of gas in liquid is exothermic. Exothermic means enthalpy will be what? Negative, and this is exothermic. So since the solubility of gas in the liquid is exothermic in nature, that the solubility of gas in liquid is inversely proportional to the temperature. That is, always any gas at low temperature it is more soluble in the liquid, and high temperature it is less soluble in the liquid air. So for example, if I take solubility of oxygen in the water, already we know that some amount of dissolved oxygen is present in the water. So the solubility of this oxygen in the water, there are two possibilities I will take here. That is, first one is at high temperature and another is low temperature. At high temperature, O2 is less soluble in water. The concentration of O2 in the water decreases. Okay. At low temperature, it is more soluble in the water. That is O2. The concentration of O2 in the water increase here. This is what the solubility of gas in the liquid air. High temperature less soluble and low temperature more soluble. That's why in case of cold water, more dissolved oxygen is available as compared to the warm water. This is the reason why the aquatic species are more comfortable in the cold water as compared to the warm water, because in case of cold water, more dissolved oxygen is present here. That's why at low temperature what happens, more dissolved oxygen is present means aquatic species are more comfortable in the cold water than in the hot water, because here dissolved oxygen is maximum. So aquatic species are more comfortable. Aquatic species are more comfortable at the low temperature only. Okay, this is what the effect of temperature. Next one, effect of pressure is very important. So the next point is effect of pressure on the solubility of gas in liquid. So I'll write effect of pressure on the solubility of gas in liquid it is. So in this one, you will consider, if you want to dissolve a gas in the liquid, you will consider a system in which this lower portion is filled by the liquid and this upper portion it is filled by the gas here. Now this vessel is completely closed. Okay, and this is fitted with a frictionless piston here. Now these gaseous molecules, they are randomly moving. We know that according to the kinetic theory of gases, these gaseous molecules are randomly moving. They will strike the wall of the container, and sometimes they will strike the surface of the liquid also. Whenever these gaseous molecules, they will strike the surface of the liquid, they will enter into the liquid, and that will increase the solubility of gas in the liquid air, so that gas is dissolved in the liquid now. Now you consider the same condition in which the lower portion is filled by the liquid like this. This is your liquid. Okay, and the upper portion it is filled by the gas here. Now if an external pressure is applied on the gas by moving the piston down, if I apply the external pressure on the gas increases. Pressure on the gas increase means, then what happens, more number of gaseous particles, they will strike the surface of the liquid and they will enter into the liquid here. So the rate at which the gaseous molecule they strike the surface of the liquid increases, and more number of gaseous molecule they will enter into the liquid now. So which increases the solubility of gas in the liquid, because the number of gaseous molecule per unit volume of the liquid increase here. For example, if I consider unit volume of the liquid here, only one gaseous molecule is available, but if I consider 1 unit volume here, 2 gaseous molecules are available, so that the number of gaseous molecule per unit volume of the liquid increases with increase in the pressure. Pressure is increased, more number of gaseous molecule they will strike the surface of the liquid and they will get enter into the liquid here. So that's why what happens, always solubility of the gas increases with increase in the pressure here. Solubility of gas is directly proportional to the pressure on the gas. As the pressure on the gas increases, its solubility in the liquid also increases, and this effect is explained by the scientist, that is Henry. And now we will discuss Henry's law. So this is very important point you have to remember. According to the Henry's law, the partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase is directly proportional to its mole fraction in the liquid phase. For example, here the partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase, if I take P gas, and in the liquid phase its mole fraction will be what? Mole fraction of the gas is what? X gas. X is the mole fraction we will take. So the concentration of the gas in the liquid is expressed in terms of mole fraction here. Mole fraction of the gas and partial pressure of the gas. More the pressure of the gas, more will be its concentration in the liquid. That's it is. So according to the Henry's law, partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase is directly proportional to its mole fraction in the liquid phase here. Okay, liquid. Now if I remove this proportional sign, this is equal to KH into X gas. Okay, this is the partial pressure of the gas is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in the liquid. If I remove this proportionality sign, I will get a constant, that is KH. This is called as Henry's constant here. KH is Henry's constant, and this is a constant for different gases it is. Okay, now in simple we will write partial pressure of the gas is equal to Henry's constant into X. The significance of this KH is, always you keep in mind, for competitive purpose, this KH value so always you keep in mind this KH value is very important to solve the questions in the competitive exam. This KH is inversely proportional to the solubility of gas. This is very important, and this is directly proportional to the temperature. Higher the value of KH, lower is the solubility of the gas in the liquid. Lower the value of the KH, higher is the solubility of gas in the liquid here. This is very important point to solve the problems. Okay, this one you have to keep in the mind. Next one, here if I take an example of partial pressure of HCl gas that is dissolved in the liquid, that is water, we take this P is equal to KH into X. It is in the form of Y is equal to mx here. M is nothing but here slope will be KH here. So the graph will be linear graph you will get. This is the partial pressure of HCl versus mole fraction of the HCl. This is along x axis and this is along y axis, so that you will get a linear relationship, and here you will get these dots that are the points by drawing this graph. And if I take this slope, the slope of the graph gives KH value. Slope of the graph gives what? KH value here. Always you keep in mind, these are the very important points. So to solve the problems, again there are two important points. You have to modify these formula, that is P is equal to KH into X, partial pressure of the gas, and this is the mole fraction of the gas here. And this X is nothing but, mole fraction of the gas is nothing but its solubility of the gas in the liquid it is. So mole fraction X can be written as what here? Solubility also. So in problem they will ask like this also, that is the solubility. So X can be written as what here? S also. P is equal to KH into S. S is nothing but solubility that is given in the problem. You have to use this formula. Whenever the unit of the KH is in terms of pressure. If KH is given in terms of pressure, you use this formula. Sometimes in the problem they will give the unit of KH in terms of per pressure, they will give like this, reciprocal of the pressure, per pressure they will give. If the KH is in terms of per pressure, unit of the KH is in terms of per pressure, then you have to use the formula. You have to interchange these two here. That is nothing but X is equal to KH into P, or S is equal to KH into P here. So this is very important to solve the problems. If the KH is given in terms of pressure, you use this formula. If KH is given in terms of per unit, that is per unit pressure, then you use these formulas here. Okay, next point. So the next point is application of Henry's law. Application of Henry's law. According to the Henry's law, already we know that solubility of the gas is directly proportional to the pressure. If the pressure on the gas is increased, its solubility in the liquid increases here. So the first point is soft drink bottles. These soft drink bottles or soda water bottles, they contain dissolved CO2 gas in them. So in order to increase the solubility of CO2 gas in the soft drink or in the soda water bottle, those soft drink bottles are sealed at very high pressure. At high pressure, more CO2 is soluble in the soft drink here. So the first point is soft drink bottles. Soft drink bottles are sealed at high pressure to increase solubility of CO2 gas. This is one thing. Next one, if you go for sea level, if I consider this as a sea level, above the sea level at the higher altitude, if you go for higher altitude, I'll write. So at higher altitude, partial pressure of the atmospheric gases decreases here. So the partial pressure of the atmospheric gases decreases, their pressure decreases means their solubility also decreases, which causes low concentration of oxygen in the blood, so that less amount of oxygen is dissolved in the blood. So the less concentration of the oxygen in the blood, it creates a weakness in the person, even it reduces thinking ability of the person. That condition is called as anoxia. So always you keep in mind, low concentration of oxygen in the blood, it creates what? Anoxia disease. Next, if you go for below the sea level, under the water, underwater below the sea level, so the partial pressure of the atmospheric gases is very high here. So partial pressure of the atmospheric gases increases. At high pressure, what happens? More gases. Air is nothing but it is a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, CO2 and all these things, so that more air is dissolved in the blood here. Whenever the scuba divers, they will come deep into the water, these scuba divers, they have to breathe air at very high pressure. At high pressure, more atmospheric gases are dissolved in the blood, and when they will come to the surface level, surface of the sea level, whenever they come to the surface of the sea level, that partial pressure of the gases suddenly decreases. So suddenly decrease means that dissolved gas in the blood, it will come out of the blood. Whenever it comes out of the blood, it forms some bubbles of the nitrogen in the blood here. Those bubbles of the nitrogen in the blood, they will block the capillaries, and which creates a medical condition that is called as bends, and this is very painful and dangerous for these scuba divers. That's why in order to avoid these bends, what they will use is, they will use a mixture of air that is diluted with the helium air, that is containing nitrogen plus oxygen plus helium. Here 56% of nitrogen is there, 32% of oxygen, and it contains 11% of the helium. So that here they will use air that is diluted with the helium because of low solubility of this helium in the blood. This is having less solubility in the blood. Even at high pressure, this helium is very less soluble in the blood, so that it will not create any problems for the scuba divers. So this is what the application of the Henry's law.